Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fruitful Trees. I'm here in South Florida, and it is currently October, the beginning of October, 2024, and we are getting ready for a hurricane here in Florida. And so I just wanted to look at some of the trees today and see what possible damage might be and talk about that and talk a little bit about hurricane preparation. Now, I want to let people know that we are in South Florida, and normally hurricanes would come from the Atlantic Ocean and come up our coast and hit us directly. This time it's coming from the Gulf of Mexico, which happens rarely, but sometimes. And it's a direct impact for Tampa, the Tampa area, or the West Coast, the Sarasota area. And it's a 5-degree category right now. Usually when it first hits land, it'll go down a little in the category. And the category means the wind speed. So category 5, I believe, is like 170 miles per hour wind. And if you want to know how strong that is go drive down the highway at 175 miles, open up the window and stick your head out or even your arm out of the car while it's driving. And that gives you an example of how strong the winds are. A lot of trees are going to fall and be damaged. A lot of people are going to lose their houses. Some that didn't prepare well may even lose their life. And hopefully none of that will happen. But for this channel, Fruitful Trees, I want to talk about this. Now, here in South Florida, currently, we're not in the direct path of the hurricane, which is a good thing for me. However, that can change at any moment. But I want to look and talk today about what possible damage can happen here. And then we'll make a aftermath video and see what happens then. But we're expected to get around, right now, around on the outer bands of the hurricane, maybe 50 to 60 miles an hour wind, which again, go down the highway and stick your arm out at 60 miles an hour. It's pretty significant. So some good damage could occur. So basically, I'll turn my camera around and just show you some of the trees that currently have fruit on it that might lose the fruit, and some of the trees that I expect that might fall down. But of everything, honestly, folks, I love my fruit trees, but if I lost every tree here, even if I lost my house, my health and my family's health is more important. We could always rebuild, and people need to keep that in mind. And my heart goes out to anyone that's in the path and had to evacuate and know, the unknown that's about to happen, but I pray for your health. So let's turn the camera around and check it out. Okay, everybody. So the first thing that's really important is for people to understand is I keep my trees short for a reason, and this is one of the very reasons I keep my trees short. You don't want your trees, or it's a good idea not to have your trees taller than your house. As you can see, the house is going to protect the trees from the wind that are shorter than the roof or the same size. So that's my lemon zest, which is one of my biggest trees, and you can see it's on par with the roof of the house, and I also have my neighbor's house there protecting that, so that should be okay. These trees here will be a little bit more protected. Keep in mind though, if you have trees close to a fence, the fence can fall and knock over the tree, so that's something to keep in mind. I have this tree here in a pot. It's a good idea to turn the pots on the side if you can't bring them in, as opposed to the wind blowing them down. At least you could turn them over in a good spot. So keep that in mind. This is a papaya tree. So I find papayas and other things that are shallow rooted will possibly blow over during storms. But if they're shallow rooted, you could usually pick them right up and they'll be okay. So we're going to look at some more with the papayas and talk a little about the papaya fruit that's on an actual tree, because I have a bunch of papaya trees with fruit on them. And I want to tell everybody now, if your papaya tree does fall over, often you can pick them up. Sometimes they'll snap, and that's another story. But if you have fruit on your tree like this one, and then there's one over here, often with bananas and papayas, you just sit them on the counter and they will ripen if you pick them off the tree when they're green, or if the tree breaks. Sometimes they won't, but you can eat papayas green. So don't get rid of your papayas if your tree falls. Eat them either green in a salad or put them on the counter to ripen. But there's a very good chance that these papaya trees will fall down. Here's one that's already tilting. Sometimes that's just how they grow. And over here, you see my neighbor has some banana trees back there. And banana trees will often either fall down, but the leaves are kind of like they're already cut up, so they don't always fall down because the wind doesn't get them as much. But keep in mind if you have banana trees and smaller trees near there, that might create a little problem, but hopefully they'll be okay. That's why I don't like to grow banana trees that are too tall. Now this tree here is a white sapote tree, and this tree is kind of tall here, but when it was smaller and we had a storm in the past, I put these posts up, and these posts were to hold the tree. And people had told me that's not a good idea because if I put some ties around here, the top of it will snap in strong winds. And right now, I don't have that problem. I took the straps off because the tree is much more grounded than it was when it was a new tree. But it was a good point, and that works, and I could suggest that sometimes. However, I have a jackfruit tree over there, and I'll show you that I did put posts up because jackfruits have a taproot. Because some trees like mangoes and papayas, if they fall, you can just pick them back up. But a jackfruit, if it falls, you're losing the whole tree because the taproot will break. However, if it snaps, the tree could still grow back. So depending on the size of the tree and the type of tree, sometimes these posts I find are a good idea, and sometimes they're not. I have a mamey tree here. There's a very good chance that these mameys are gonna blow off the tree, and that'd be sad, but it happens. I'm not as concerned with my mango trees, even though they're big. They're strong in the ground, and I think they're going to do well. This is my persimmon tree. It is small, and only trees that have fruit on them right now are the ones of major concern because the fruit will blow off. And those would be fruits that fruit in the winter, either winter season avocados, persimmon, or a soursop, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. So here is my jackfruit tree. This was a newer jackfruit tree. And as you can see, I put these posts much higher than I did in my previous tree because that one was small when I put it in the ground. And I know some people say it might snap on the top of that. But if it does, I will just let it grow back. But if I didn't have these poles, there's a good chance it would come out of the ground and break the taproot. This is a winter avocado, but it has no avocados this year, so I'm not concerned about that. Here I have 3 trees in pots. I have a Jamaica mamey that's growing, a Zil 4026, and a finger lime. So before the storm comes, I'm going to turn these on their sides. So that'll just help them deal with the storm a little bit better, so they're not blown over. Now this is a soursop tree that I've been debating if I'm going to keep or not. Right now I feel like I'm going to keep it, just cut it back. But it's loaded with fruit right now. And some of it's already fallen off. Now these you could pick and they'll ripen on the counter. You could pick them unripe, which would be a good idea if you have a big one like that. However, this tree and all annona trees, well most annona trees, soursop, sugar apple, maybe if you have a cherimoya or an atamoya, these trees do not have deep roots and very good chance they will blow over. This tree's blown over several times. So keep that in mind. Now, custard apple is a little bit longer. It's a little bit longer root. So you might not have a problem with that. Now, I'm going to go to the front of the yard and show you some of my avocado trees that have a lot of avocados on there, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so here I am in my front yard, and my starfruit tree is loaded right now. And loaded. And so there's a good chance a lot of these are going to fall off the tree. And you can see there's already a bunch on the floor. So it'd be a good time to pick these. We still got all day today before anything happens. These are some of my trees. This is my Oronego tree. There's some avocados on there, a good amount. They're not quite ready yet, so it's too soon to be picking them. This is my Ronnie tree, and this is the first year I have avocados on this, and this tree is loaded. So I'm hoping I get to taste a few of those. The sapodilla tree, the fruit's still small, so I don't think as much will fall off as that. The closer it gets to ripening, the looser it gets on the tree. And it's one of the ways to know when a fruit is ripe or not. But those are some avocado trees. And my miracle fruit tree is loaded with miracle fruit right now. This is one of my favorite trees in my yard. Very good chance these berries are all gonna blow off this tree if the wind is too strong. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is I have some grafts, and usually a hurricane is not good for a graft, especially if you didn't tie it up tight enough. This graft actually took. With all this rain, they're not really taken, but this one did take, so that's exciting. So let me go. I'll show you another sapodilla tree here. This is my Alano sapodilla tree. We'll see what happens with that. There's a lot of babies on there, but this one, the butterscotch sapodilla, has a lot of babies on there. These, we'll see if they blow off or not. Let's go next door to Mangoland and see what's happening there. All right, this is my neighbor Ram, and he's been growing fruit trees for years here in South Florida. You're a native, huh?
Yeah.
So what's your advice for people that are either not in a direct path like us, or people that are in a direct path that are growing fruit trees?
Well, if I was in a direct path, I'd be cutting my trees down to about 6 foot high. That's what I would do. Just get all the leaves off of it as possible, because if you're in a direct path, they're coming down, all of them. Even at 6 foot high, they may come down. And in our area, well, I'm not doing much to ours. I think we're fine. 30, 40 mile an hour winds isn't going to hurt us too much. And that's what we're expected to get.
Okay, I know certain trees are shallow rooted that might fall other than other trees. I was talking about that. So,
yeah, but I think what I've got going here, mostly mango trees and mamey, that kind of stuff. It's going to be fine if we don't get more than 30 or 40 mile an hour winds, and I don't think we're going to. We get that during summer.
They're saying maybe 50 or 60.
Okay, so we still get that during summer storms.
Sure. Yeah.
So we should be good with that.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
All right. Well, thank you. We're gonna go take a look at Mangoland now, everybody. So here we go. All right, that's my neighbor, and he's a native here to South Florida. If he's not too worried, I'm not too worried. So here's my banana trees. These are my tall Namwa banana trees that I once thought was apple, but no, they're tall Namwa. And there is a concern if these blow over, they'll knock off some of the other trees. But I'm not going to cut them at this time. We'll see how they do. Like I said, the leaves are pretty much not closed on them, so sometimes they do okay, but there's a rack of bananas on there. And I think about all my banana trees have a rack of bananas at this point. So some Lula avocado on the tree, which are almost about ready in a month now. So hopefully many of them won't blow off. This is a newer tree here. This is a finger lime tree, which is quite thin, so we'll see how that one does. But everything else we should be good with here. I'll turn all these trees on their side. Well, not all of them. I'll turn the small ones on the side or bring them inside. The bigger ones I think will be strong enough. As I said, a lot of my banana trees finally have bananas on them. But we'll see if they fall or not fall, because it took me a while to finally get bananas on them. This banana rack is just coming out. Look at that flower. So hopefully the bananas won't be affected. But I already trimmed a lot of my trees and nothing's too tall here. So we'll see how they all go. This is really cool. I planted a moringa here recently, and it looks like it took. And the moringa is growing. Nice spot. With all the rain, that's nice. All right, everybody, there you have it. That's a look before the hurricane of how the trees look. Maybe some tips. And again, my heart goes out to everybody that's in a direct path of the hurricane. And you still have time to take care of some trees. Maybe like my neighbor said, cut them if you can. If you like that advice. I know some other guys that say just leave it and let nature take its course. But thankfully, we don't have to deal with this often. But so hopefully that'll help. And everybody, if you don't see a video from me in a little while, it means maybe power's out or something. But I'll do my best to keep you updated because we're almost definitely going to lose power. But hopefully not, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to try to clean things up here a little so I don't have a lot of stuff blowing around. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And hang in there, stay strong, and keep growing. For more educational videos about mangoes and other fruits and how to grow fruit trees, please look out the other videos on this channel, Fruitful Trees, and also subscribe if you like, and also share these videos with others. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and keep growing.